Good morning everyone. In the last lesson we have studied about sources of history. Why these sources should be taken into consideration while we are studying history. What all precautions are required while using these sources of history. Its authentication, its verification is very important. Beginning with the second lesson, it is about India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. We shall learn about the various ruling powers in India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. Various ruling powers existed in India during that period, that is, giving rise to one power and declining the power of other, fall and rise of different dynasties. Different dynasties came into existence before the time of Shivaji Maharaj. We are going to see one by one. Beginning with the first one is Pal dynasty. Pal in the 8th century was a famous dynasty in Bengal. You can see in the map. The next one is Gurjar Pratihara. In central India, the Gurjar Pratihara power spread up to Andhra, Kalinga, Vidarbha, West Kathiawar, Kannauj and Gujarat. You can see how these different regions were under the control of Gurjar Pratihara. Among the Rajput dynasties in North India, the Gadwal and the Parmar dynasties were the important ones. And among the Rajputs, Prithviraj Chauhan belonging to the Chauhan dynasty was a valiant king. That is, he was courageous, he was well determined for his kingdom. A brave ruler who had fought for his dynasty till the end of his life. During the ruling time of Prithviraj Chauhan, one of his enemy had attacked on him. The name was Muhammad Ghori. They both had fight between each other, and in the first war at Tarai, Prithviraj Chauhan had defeated Muhammad Ghori, whereas vice versa had happened. But at the second war at Tarai, Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithviraj Chauhan. After that is Chola dynasty. Raja Raj I and Rajendra I belonging to the Chola dynasty in Tamil Nadu. You can see in the map, Tamil Nadu comes in the south part of India. Were eminent rulers. They were very strong, very brave. The Cholas conquered the Maldives Islands and Sri Lanka using their naval strength. Now, naval strength means what? You know that we are having three forces: Army, Air Force and Navy. Army, you know that it is related to your land surface. Air Force related to your airways. Then next is your Navy. Navy is related to water. So they have conquered the regions using waterways. After that is your Hosal dynasty. Now Hosal dynasty, one of the eminent king named Vishnuvardhan belonging to Hosal dynasty in Karnataka had conquered the whole region under his control. Moving on to the next dynasty is Rashtrakuta dynasty. During the reign of Govind III, the Rashtrakuta dynasty in Maharashtra had spread its power from Kannauj up to Rameshwar. And after that, Krishna III conquered the region up to Allahabad. You can see in the map. We have seen Rashtrakuta dynasty. After that is Shilahars. Now they had spread their powers into three dynasties and they had ruled in western part of Maharashtra. One dynasty ruled over Thane and Raigad in North Konkan. The second ruled in South Konkan, while the third dynasty ruled over some parts of the present-day Kolhapur, Satara, and Sangli and Belgaum district. Up till now, we have seen different dynasties in India that had ruled in different parts of India. The last prosperous, powerful dynasty was the Yadava dynasty before the time of Shivaji Maharaj. Prosperous in the term as successful in material terms, flourishing financially, that is well as getting success. The capital of Bilyam V of the Yadava dynasty was at Devgiri near Aurangabad, and it extended its rule beyond the river Krishna. As we all know that the Yadava period was the most prosperous period. Even this period is called as a golden period of Marathi language and literature. In this period, language and literature was given a great importance. It was in this period that the Mahanubhav Panth and the Varkari movement emerged. Mahanubhav Panth, started by Chakradhar Swami, it laid the emphasis on equality among the people by creating awareness through religious and social movements. Varkari movement is called as a social procession started by a group of people. This procession is mostly in the month of June or July, starting with the day called Ekadashi. On this day, a social gathering of people is there, and in this, they carry the footprints of Sant Tukaram from Alandi Dehu, and they reach after a month to Pandharpur, taking the blessings of Vitthal and Rukmini. Invasion from the northwest. Local dynasties like the Yadava and the Rashtrakuta ruled in Maharashtra over a longer period of time. But certain invaders from the northwest conquered these local dynasties and established their own rule. In the meanwhile, Arab power had emerged in India from Middle East. They wanted that they should capture different parts of India and establish their own rule. The Arab general Muhammad bin Qasim attacked the Sindh province in the 8th century. Already King Dahir was ruling in the Sindh province, but still Muhammad bin Qasim continued his fight and defeated King Dahir and conquered the province of Sindh. Due to this campaign, the Arabs came in political contact with India for the first time. By seeing that Arabs are spreading their power in different parts of India, other rulers from other countries like Turks, Afghans, and Mughals from Central Asia came to India and established their power here. In the 11th century CE, the Turks began to invade India. Expanding their territories, they reached the northwestern frontier of India. Among them, Sultan Mahmud of Ghazni invaded India many times. He had conquered different regions and looted the wealth of temples at Mathura, Vrindavan, Kannauj, and Somnath, and carried this wealth back to his nation. Sultanate in the north. In 1175 CE and 1178 CE, Sultan Mahmud Ghori of Ghor, he was from Afghanistan, he came to India. He had appointed among his Sardar a well-known person named Qutubuddin Aibak to look after the governance of the conquered territories in India. Qutbuddin Aibak was just a slave and was looking after the conquered territories as instructed by Muhammad Ghuri. But after the death of Muhammad Ghuri in 1206 CE, Aibak began to rule all the conquered Indian territories, and these territories he brought under his control and ruled these territories independently. Aibak had died in 1210 CE. Do you know that after the death of Qutbuddin Aibak, Iltutmish, Razia Bulban, Alauddin Khalji, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Firuz Tughlaq, Ibrahim Lodi, and many other sultans came to India to spread their ruling powers and conquered different parts of India. Ibrahim Lodi was the last sultan. He made many enemies because he was somewhat different from other rulers. He did not withstand in front of him any enemies. So, Governor of Punjab, named Daulat Khan Lodi, decided to invite Babur. Babur at that time was ruling Kabul. So, Daulat Khan Lodi invited Babur to fight against Ibrahim Lodi. Babur was strong enough, and with the huge army he invaded Ibrahim Lodi in the battle and conquered his sultanate. This came to an end with the Lodi Sultanate. The Kingdom of Vijayanagar. During the reign, that is the ruling power of Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq of Delhi, there were many revolts for the position of the Delhi Sultanate, and among this gave rise to two separate kingdoms named as Vijayanagar and Bahmani kingdoms. Among them, the two brothers, that is Harihar and Bukka from South India, were Sardars in the service of Delhi Sultanate. Both the brothers were under the service of Delhi Sultanate. Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq was ruling Delhi at that time. This created an instability environment among different rulers and related to give a rise of conflict among them. The advantage was took by the two brothers Harihar and Bukka. They founded a separate kingdom named as Vijayanagar in the south in 1336 CE. Hampi in today's Karnataka was the capital of this kingdom. The first king of Vijayanagar was Harihar. Bukka could not tolerate the success of his brother. He was in the favor of revenge. So he decided that he will defeat Harihar and conquer the region. Bukka defeated Harihar and he brought the region up to Rameshwar under his control. After Harihar, Krishnadev Raya was the next king of Vijayanagar. He ascended the throne of Vijayanagar in 1509 CE. He conquered Vijayawada and Rajmahendri and annexed the regions to his kingdom. He brought under the control of these regions under him. He defeated the combined forces of the armies of Sultan who had gathered together under the leadership of Bahmani Sultan Mahmud Shah. During his reign only, Vijayanagar had extended a lot, from Cuttack in the east up to Goa in the west, and from Raichur in the north up to the Indian Ocean in the south. At last, he had passed away in 1530 CE. He was an eminent scholar, a good writer. He wrote Amukta Malaida, a Telugu compendium on polity. Polity means politeness. Compendium is a collection of concise, precise information given on a particular subject, especially in a kind of a book or other publication. He even established different temples. named as Hazaram Temple and Vitthal Temple during his reign. A beautiful architectural work was also being seen in the temple. Krishnadev Raya was strong, brave, courageous, intelligent ruler. He brought many regions under his control. But after his death, Vijayanagar kingdom started declining. In 1565 CE, at Talikot, in the present state of Karnataka, there was a battle between the four powers on one side and Vijayanagar on the other side. The four powers were Adil Shahi, Nizam Shahi, Qutub Shahi, Bharit Shahi. They wanted to bring the Vijayanagar kingdom under their control, and this led to the dominance of Vijayanagar kingdom. The Bahmani kingdom. While Muhammad bin Tughlaq was still reigning and was a Sardar of Delhi Sultanate, some of the Sardars in Deccan were against him, so they decided to defeat Muhammad bin Tughlaq. The leader of these Sardars was Hassan Gangu. He defeated Sultan of Delhi with a huge army on one side. With the huge army of Hassan Gangu, the Sultan of Delhi, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, got defeated. And in this way, a new kingdom known as Bahmani kingdom came into existence in 1347 CE. Hassan Gangu became the first Sultan of Bahmani kingdom. He made the city of Gulbarga in Karnataka his capital. Remember children, these names can come in answer in one word. Like we have seen, the kingdom of Vijayanagar was established in 1336 CE, whereas Bahmani kingdom was established in 1347 CE. The first king of Vijayanagar was Harihar. On the other hand, the first Sultan of Bahmani kingdom was Hassan Gangu. Muhammad Gawan, a ruler in the Bahmani kingdom. He was the chief minister of Bahmani kingdom as well as a good administrator. He had made Bahmani kingdom a strong kingdom by strengthening its power. Previously, soldiers were given lands when they used to work for the sultans. But Muhammad Gawan, he started paying the salaries in the form of cash rather than giving land grants. He brought discipline and punctuality in the army. Even he introduced many reforms related to land collection of taxes in his kingdom. He even opened a madrasa at Bidar. Previously, when children used to take education, they need to go to either madrasa or to the Gurukul. This system was being followed. And he opened this at Bidar, where Persian and Arabic studies were done. After the death of Muhammad Gawan, factionism increased. Factionism refers to arguments or dispute between two or more small or large groups. This had increased. Why? Because everyone wanted the position of chief wazir. Bahmani Sardar had a great conflict among each other for the position. The conflict with the Vijayanagar had created an adverse effect on Bahmani kingdom, and this led to the separation of different provinces. These provinces that ruled independently. The provincial governors began to act more independently, and this led to the disintegration of Bahmani kingdom. Disintegration can be referred to as split into different parts, and these created five small powers. They were Imad Shahi of Bharat, Bharit Shahi of Bidar, Adil Shahi of Bijapur, Nizam Shahi of Ahmednagar and Qutub Shahi of Golconda. Remember children, you need to learn these 5 small powers. Sometimes this can come for answer in one sentence, answer in one word or match the following. So learn these properly. Thank you.